We're just playing rock, paper, scissors.
We have everything coordinated so well here. Anyway, we welcome in Coach Tricia Fabbri. Have you unpacked? Have you got your stuff all settled back in?
Good
I
question.
have not.
No?
I have not. That's a great question.
Did you
the
just
bag's
take
still sitting in the
one
room.
suitcase?
Yes,
Wow.
this time I did.
See,
And
that's
actually,
the type of stuff you're not going to find at another interview.
Actually, two great questions right off the bat. Yes.
Yep.
You heard it here first.
So anyone who might have been living under a rock for the last couple of weeks, the Quinnipiac women's basketball team made history by making the NCAA tournament, by winning a game in the NCAA tournament, and then going on and winning a second game in the NCAA tournament. Coach, what I want to bring up, and we were just talking about this, at the mid-major level, the dream is to make the NCAA tournament.
Right.
That's the goal. To make. You have now done it 3 times in the last 5 years. You established a culture of this is what we do here.
Yep.
We go to the NCAA tournament, and now you've advanced that culture to say, we not only go, we win.
Yeah.
We're a 12 seed, we beat a 5 seed, we beat a 4, we beat nationally ranked teams, and you can do that at Quinnipiac.
Yes. Well, it was really important that when we got into the tournament, we were like, wow, this is great to be here. Like, this is a lot of fun. And then once we sat down with the staff, we were like, okay, what do we have to do to win in the tournament? And that came with, you already brought it up, like the seeding is so important. And then what do you have to do to ensure your seeding? Well, that's, what you're doing in the non-conference scheduling. You get that 11-12 seed, you get that neutral court, you get that opponent on the neutral court. So our first year, we went out and we saw Maryland at Maryland. Like, again, that was like, we finally got into the dance. This is great to belong.
Right.
The excitement, the notoriety, the recognition. You were here. Okay. Well, taking it one step further was like, okay, so how are we going to win? And that's where it broke down into, okay, what are we doing in the non-conference? And getting that 11-12 seed is so important. And then 11-12 seed, we got the second year, we saw Oklahoma out at Stanford. And then once you get a taste of it, well, then now that's what you're recruiting to, what the kids in the program now want, not just, again, winning and representing your conference, representing the MAC, but now winning in the tournament. And we just knew that we had a great university, a great program, and now we want to win the games in the tournament because it's addictive. And we certainly had the recipe in terms of how we're going to get the seed to be successful. And then really the team this year, it was set, last year after we got our first national postseason win in the NIT, with the majority of the team and the letter winners coming back, that it was wins in the NCAA tournament. The schedule broke. We had great non-conference wins. We took care of business in the MAC tournament. And then we got the 12 seed on the neutral court down in Miami, seeing Marquette. And what was really important about that was just seeing a team that did not have a huge success in the NCAA tournament. We had been there more than they had been. And that was really, that experience factor is huge now, and that played to our advantage. That was big for us all weekend long and getting into the Sweet 16 that second weekend in the NCAA tournament.
And you've always had, great talent. You've always had really good guards and wings. And I think your bigs in the last couple of years, when you talk about recruiting to getting to that non-conference success, which gets you the better seed, I think the front court is where you've excelled, improved over the last 2-3 years maybe, and that's how you've gotten the success?
Not only that, but I think it's just the overall depth of talent and the numbers of players that we do play, and just the overall skill and the ability and skill of the player that we can recruit. Like this true student athlete that believes in team. We're so unselfish. We play a lot of players. Our identity this year was all about defense, and that paid off huge dividends, not only all season long, but again, in wins over Marquette and Miami down on their home court. We were not rattled when we were able to get a lead, hold on to the lead, and that's because of our defensive identity. But again, it was just an incredible weekend, and then getting into that second weekend, it was just, an incredible experience for this program.
All without a first-team all-conference player.
Yeah,
that speaks to what you were talking about it being a true team.
It really is. Our style is really different, and we do preach team, but we have a lot of talented players where a lot of teams where you're getting ready to scout, you can take away, 1 or 2 players because everything runs through them. You're going to take away a leading scorer who's going to be their playmaker, shut them down, and then you're going to give yourself a big chance to go out and win. Where for us, It's going to be anybody who's going to have the ability and the skill and the talent to go out and make the play, to make the assist, to have the pass, to go get the score. And that's what we saw time and time again, not only this year, but over the course of the last 5-6 years.
How about being a women's basketball program in this state and being able to use the following that this state has, the love that this state has for women's college basketball, obviously with its support of UConn, but your program and others as well. Because in some states, and I'm sure in Wisconsin, Marquette doesn't get the following outside of the major cities that you get throughout the state. Are you able to use that in recruiting, using that to your team on the floor, game in and game out?
Well, you know what? Certainly, this state is crazy for its women's basketball, and I've seen it firsthand just with my daughter playing high school basketball.
Yep.
They get behind their sports in general, but in particular their women's basketball. I did see a nice growing throughout the tournament when Marquette was hosting the Big East Championship, and they continued to move on and host the championship, as that's what winning does, and that's what our program's been able to do, is really grow a nice fan base and nice support. But what really propelled us was obviously not only did we win the first 2 games and get into the Sweet 16, but really Gino at his press conference getting ready to move in and see his teams over the weekend, and then he watched our team play. And he just was so impressed with just our grit and our toughness and knocking off a team on their home floor. He said that we inspired him, and that inspired him to really show some support for the other team, that played great basketball. To have 2 teams in the state represent Connecticut in the NCAA tournament, to have 2 teams still remaining in the Sweet 16 was a big deal to him. And then, to have. I had emails from people saying, I'm not sure why Gino Auriemma was wearing a Quinnipiac t-shirt. So I followed your story. It was so inspirational. I went out and got the Quinnipiac sweatshirt and was pulling for you guys on Saturday against South Carolina. So, and I got those comments all week long that, we're closer to Hamden than we are to Storr, so we're going to look into purchasing season tickets. Come out because you've got a great team. You've won a lot just like UConn, and we're going to get behind both teams in the state. So that's been huge for us.
Quickly, has this changed things for recruiting? And I know you'll see it as you move on, and you haven't had a chance to go on the recruiting trail.
For us, we've said to the current members on the team, this is where this program can go. We firmly believe we're going to get into a Sweet 16, and now it's for everybody else that, hey, we're here. This is why you need to say yes. Help us win these games in the Sweet 16.
Your energy is still there. After,
That's it.
How many
I'm
years
excited.
at Quinnipiac? 22?
22.
22 years at Quinnipiac, and I think your
started
energy
at 12.
is
That's it.
That's right.
That's
you were
it.
12 when you started. Thank you so much for coming. I know you've been so busy. You've been running around. You got a big ovation at the UConn game the other day in Bridgeport, and even when the new coach was introduced today, that they had to stop and recognize you and applaud you, and you deserve every ounce of that. Thank you so much.
Gentlemen, you've been big fans for a lot of years. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, we
Great
love
to
it.
have you. Hope you'll come back.
Yep.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll have more coming up here on CT Sports Now when we come back.